Hello everyone, we are back again discussing everything college and education. My very favorite topics. What I have prepared for you today is a talk about the Common App and particularly the Common Application Essay, or the personal statement as someone will call that, the 650 words that every student will have to write if they are applying to college. Now, if you're filling in the Common Application, I have a little bit of a breakdown here for you so you can understand what is changing for this school year, for this 2023-24, if you're a rising senior and if you're writing your essay. So the Common Application and the topics, to be specific, are officially out. The Common Application will open on August 1st, and usually before August 1st, for a day or two, the application is down. Even if you want to create an account or start something, you're not going to be able to. You can, however, begin the process now, and the information will transfer even after August 1st. So you'll be pretty safe if you put any personal information there. But I know what most students are really interested in knowing, and that is what are going to be the prompts for 23-24 cycle. So the good news is that the topics are remaining the same. Nothing really much has changed, and they have pretty much kept exactly what was last year. This year, things are just repeating exactly as they were. So they seem to have found an array of topics that are fitting almost everyone, and there is something for everyone to choose from, and they have decided not to change anything. Last year, they altered the prompt number 4, to include an invitation to talk about gratitude, and this was really a welcome addition because of the new normal that all students found themselves in, all of us actually. So this was really a good prompt about gratitude, and it was actually one of my favorite prompts. If you ask me, that's what we will be discussing today. Not just what are the prompts, but what prompts to stay away from and what were the most popular prompts last year. In case you should wonder, some of the students that I have, and I always have a question or two that comes my way, and students asking, so what is the most popular prompt? Which prompt should they choose? Which prompt should they not choose? And if you ask me, in fact, there's just too much time spent on picking the perfect prompt. There is no such thing as a perfect prompt, but there's certainly some prompts that were more popular than others last year. And in my personal opinion, there's some topics when you're responding to these prompts, there's some topics to certainly stay away from, and that's what I'll be discussing today. So the prompts from 1 to 7 will be listed below, so I don't have to go ahead and read those prompts. What they have decided is to keep the question about COVID and how COVID might have affected you. So that is the same thing as last year again. So which prompts were most popular last cycle? In the most recent cycle from 22-23 of the Common App, the most frequently selected topic was number 7, which is share an essay on any topic of your choice. It can be one you've already written, one that responds to a different prompt, or one of your own design. Okay, so this was number 7, the most popular prompt, the topic of your choice essay. So this was chosen by nearly 25% of the students that applied and used this Common Application. Prompt number 5, discuss your accomplishments, was the second most favorite prompt. And I'm just going to go ahead and read prompt number 5 here. Discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth and a new understanding of yourself or others. So this was the second most popular prompt, and this was chosen by nearly 24% of the seniors that applied. And the last most popular prompt was prompt number 2, which is about setbacks and challenges or failure. And the prompt reads, the lessons we take from obstacles we encounter can be fundamental to later success. Recount a time when you faced a challenge, setback, or failure. How did it affect you, and what did you learn from the experience? Okay, so many students that I personally worked with last year chose to select prompt number 2 only because it just gives them an opportunity to create that, or so they felt, that story where they have, zero to hero kind of effect, which always, in my personal opinion, makes for a good personal narrative. Least favorite for my students in particular, and when I work with my students, was number 7. So this is pretty interesting to me when I read the stats that number 7 was one of the most popular prompts. Share an essay on any topic of your choice. And the reason why this could be a little bit of a dangerous prompt to choose is because it is so open-ended. So unless you really have something very specific to share, unless you have baked story, and unless you already have something that you've written, this could be a little bit of a dangerous territory where you could speak about anything. Yes, that's very freeing and that's lovely, but again, it might be a bit dangerous if you're not working with anyone, if you're not having anyone guide you. You could go on a tangent and you might really lose yourself. So as far as the prompts here go, and each one of them, expecting a good personal statement, 650 words. The minimum, actually, the bottom is 250. So minimum 250, maximum 650 words. As far as the prompts really go, I would say do not spend too much time thinking of the perfect prompt. Instead, focus on your story. But number 7 can really be one of those prompts where you do something amazing. If you have someone to guide you, and if you start early, if you spend enough time brainstorming, or you could actually fall flat on your face with prompt number 7. Now, I'm not going to suggest, choose prompt 1 or 5 or 7 or none of that. No one should be guiding you to what prompt to choose. But you should certainly look at all of these prompts and think about a story you might have that will fit 1 or 2 or even 3 of these prompts, and brainstorm on each one of them. Take a look and see where your story is taking you and how it's shaping, and then only decide on the prompt. So I would say think about the story first and foremost, and then think about the prompt. So there are no special hacks. If you I know students are on Reddit and they Google stuff, and then there's all this hack the Common App essay and hack this and hack that. I mean, there's really no hack. Okay, so this is not about hacking. This is not about beating the system. This is not about beating the game. Okay, so this is about telling you a story in a most authentic way. Tell your story in a personal way. Make sure it is compelling. Make sure you diligently edit your work. Make sure that you revise and edit and cut as much as you can, and make sure that you finally polish the final product. Do have proper guidance, someone you trust. And I know many parents sometimes step in and they try to help their children, and this could be disastrous. It could end up in having a very deadly consequence for the student. As much as parents really want to help, and as much as they think that they know their children best, I would say parents, in my experience, and I've been working in this educational environment, working with students who write, working with rising seniors, college counseling, so many of them, I have to tell you, parents, many times all we need them to do is just take a step back, be supportive, definitely be encouraging, definitely do not be negative, but do not also be your child's proctor and mentor when they start writing. Because most of the times I've seen, even when parents come to the meetings with their teen and they sit down, the children are not free to express themselves. They always think of how and what they should say. So the adult next to them, usually the parent in this case, is happy instead of thinking of how are they telling their story in the most authentic way. So that's a caution area there. If there's anything that you need to pay attention to, is that, and not spending so much time on choosing the prompt. So writing a personal statement that is compelling does not necessarily mean that you have to have done something exceptional or of great value in your life, or as I say, don't have to have saved elephants or built cities. Okay, a great college essay can take place in any area of your life, and there's really no shortage. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities of drama and tension and everything that you're experiencing in your everyday life. So over the course of your life, there must have been something, without a doubt, that you have experienced that is worthy of your essay as an essay topic. So sit down, spend enough time, think it over, and spend time on reflecting who you are and what matters to you, and then your compelling story will emerge. The most important thing is to give yourself time to reflect. Many students hurry and rush at the last minute, and they think they've got it. They think they know what they're going to write. They think, this is not going to be that difficult. They think they have done it many times for their literature class. This is different kind of writing than the writing that you just give to your literature teacher, and you know that you'll get an A, and the teacher is paid to read your work and grade you. Okay, this is what they do. Your personal narrative is a completely different animal. So you have to give yourself enough time, and you have to reflect to understand who you are. So one of the most important elements here is to think, what are your core values? What do you think about? What really matters to you? How did you respond to situations in your life? And what is it that you really learned from that, about friendships, about failures, about successes, about the bottom line, about any kind of interaction, about anything that really matters to you? Last year I had a student who in fact wrote his personal statement on, and if he or anyone that know me is watching this video, I'm not going to mention names. It turned out to be a lovely personal statement, and he wrote his personal statement on making and coming up from scratch with a recipe that he really loves on coconut pudding, and he was trying to make that final sweet dessert, fluffy cloud-like to perfection. And he experimented many times. But of course, the story was not about the pudding at all. It was all about him. So we didn't spend time on, as much as we spent time on describing how he reinvented the pudding recipe, we also spent a lot of time on, his personal qualities, thinking process, determination, desire for innovation. So it is not really about the story, really, but it is about the background and everything that happens while the rest of the things are going on in your life. So think about that. And I am going to have another video that focuses specifically on strategies on how to write personal statement. If you are not able to work with anyone, and if you need any kind of advice, or any kind of editing advice, any kind of proofreading advice, or in general, brainstorming advice on the personal statement, you can always reach out. And I also have 2 courses on my website. If you're not able to, find anyone that works with you, you can certainly watch these, and step by step, you'll be guided on how to write your personal statement. However, I will say reach out to someone who can do a final editing or proofreading and give you, advice on how your theme has been developed, your tone, and just basic grammar and structure. So looking at the stats, it's pretty clear that some topics are definite two and I would never suggest again to anyone a specific topic. However, two specific themes that I would say to stay away from any of the topics that you choose. These these specific themes that you should really avoid discussing